Welcome to the deep dive. Ready to explore the mysteries of Antariksh Yan? Buckle up, because this deep dive takes us straight into the heart of cosmic horror.
And what's truly fascinating about Antariksh Yan is how it throws us right into the deep end, starting with the universe's birth.
Right. Forget the Big Bang you learned in school. This is different. This is about a silence so profound.
It's almost like you can feel it.
Yeah, like it's vibrating. The story describes this silence and then this breath that kickstarts everything.
And it's not just matter and energy, it makes time itself.
It's true. Throws you off balance from the get-go. Imagine time not as a line, but as an ocean.
Where every moment is connected.
Exactly. Trippy race.
Right.
And that's just the setup. From this chaos, we see galaxies forming, stars igniting, and eventually life. But not just one kind of life.
Oh, no, not at all. Antariksh Yan gives us a whole buffet of alien species.
Right. You've got the Ishvatha living crystal beings. Imagine a city, but it's a single organism. That's them.
And then there are the Ikanu, think ancient and wise, like Yoda, but way more tentacles.
And let's not forget the Theraxians, a hive mind who communicate telepathically. Can you imagine? Group projects must be a trip for them.
And what's remarkable is even though they're incredibly different, these species all have this same drive to survive, to explore, to understand the universe. Makes you wonder.
Are those things just hardwired into intelligent life,
Yeah.
no matter where it pops up?
It really makes you think. And that shared need for survival, that's how we get the stellar union, right?
Right, because the universe is a dangerous place, even without monsters lurking around every corner.
Tell me about it. Supernovas, black holes, rogue asteroids, that's just another Tuesday out in space.
So banding together makes perfect sense. Safety in numbers, right?
Exactly. Cosmic edition. But here's where it gets interesting. The stellar union, it's not some perfect utopia.
Oh, no, definitely not.
They've got their own issues, internal conflicts simmering beneath the surface, power struggles, old grudges, you know how it is.
Right, like trying to herd space cats, but on a galactic scale.
Exactly. And then on top of all that, there's the eclipse.
And this isn't just some poetic metaphor. This is a cosmic horror show, something whispered about in hushed tones. And it devours everything in its path.
Leaving only silence in its wake.
It's terrifying. And the way the story keeps the eclipse shrouded in mystery. Genius. Really lets your imagination run wild.
Oh, absolutely. Is it some natural phenomenon? Or a malevolent entity, a cosmic force of destruction? The story never says for sure.
And that uncertainty just makes it even scarier,
Right. Imagine looking up at the night sky, knowing that something out there could just snuff out a star like it's nothing. And it's not just stars. This thing messes with technology, throws communications into chaos, even warps space and time.
Wait, hold on. Time travel. Tell me more about that.
Well, it's not time travel like in the movies, not exactly. It's more like the eclipse makes time unreliable, fluid.
Fluid, what do you mean?
Like, stars might appear and disappear, gravity could go haywire. Imagine being on a ship where up suddenly becomes down, or a minute could feel like an hour. Disorienting doesn't even cover it. It makes you question the very fabric of the universe. And it's into this cosmic nightmare that the Antariksh Yan, a ship built for the impossible, is sent to face the unknown.
Their mission. Find a way to stop it.
Think about that for a second. Sending a ship with a crew into something that's devoured entire star systems, that's not even bravery anymore.
That's lazy.
Or maybe it's just utter desperation. Talk about a one-way ticket.
And that's where we meet our heroes, the crew of the Antariksh Yan. Each one is the best in their field, but they're also carrying their own baggage, They're not just facing the unknown out there, but also within themselves. But we'll get to them in a bit first. So last time, we left off with the Antariksh Yan heading straight into the jaws of the cosmic mystery that is the eclipse. But before they get swallowed whole, we meet the crew, because what's a good space opera without a memorable crew?
Right. And Antariksh Yan definitely delivers on that front. First up, we have Commander Aryan Kavi.
Aryan Kavi.
He's like the grizzled veteran, haunted by past missions, but still willing to face the unknown again.
Wow. Talk about carrying the weight of the galaxy on your shoulders.
No kidding. And then there's Lakshmi Iyer, the ship's chief engineer.
What's she like?
She's basically holding the Antariksh Yan together with, duct tape and sheer willpower.
I bet. Especially with that eclipse, throwing all those physics-defying curveballs their way.
Exactly. Imagine trying to fix a car engine, but someone keeps changing the laws of physics while you work.
That's Lakshmi's life right now.
Pretty much. And then there's Ravi Chandra, the pilot. Now, Ravi, he's interesting. legendary even.
What makes him so special?
Well, he's known for pulling off these impossible maneuvers, always with a joke on his lips. But even he's shaken by the eclipse.
Really? So what, is he usually fearless?
You could say that. See, Ravi follows the Shunya faith, which is all about the cycles of creation and destruction.
So he just accepts that the universe can be a scary place.
Exactly. It's part of the natural order for him. But the eclipse, this is different.
How so?
Well, this isn't just destruction, it's oblivion. And that throws a wrench into his entire worldview. Even his faith is tested.
Wow. Talk about a crisis of faith. Cosmic edition.
Right. And then we have Dr. Maya Nigam, the xenolinguist.
She's there to, what, talk to the aliens?
Well, sort of, but not in the way you might think. Maya's looking for patterns, trying to see if the eclipse itself is communicating, like if there's a message or warning buried within the chaos.
So she's trying to have a conversation with a cosmic horror.
Basically, brave, right?
Or maybe a little crazy.
Maybe a little both. And as they get closer to the eclipse, things get weird, even for this story.
Okay, weirder than a talking cosmic horror. How?
Maya starts picking up these strange echoes, like whispers from another dimension almost.
Whispers? What kind of whispers?
They aren't just random sounds. They're like fragments of thoughts, memories, fears.
So the eclipse is messing with their heads.
That's what it seems like, yeah, like some kind of cosmic telepathy. And remember Siddhartha, the tactical officer? Turns out he had a past encounter with the eclipse, one that left him, well, pretty scarred.
He saw what it could do firsthand.
Right. And as they get closer, all those old memories, they resurface, like being haunted by your past, but on a galactic scale. And it gets worse. The story introduces these beings, entities.
Entities? What kind of entities?
They exist within the eclipse, and let me tell you, they are the stuff of nightmares. Imagine something humanoid, but distorted, like a reflection in a broken mirror. Their movements are jerky, unnatural, like they're not quite bound by the same laws of physics as us.
Okay, hold on. So they're not just from another planet. They're from another reality.
Exactly. And it gets weirder. These entities, they don't just observe the Antariksh Yan from afar. They start interacting with it.
Interacting? How?
Messing with the ship's systems, almost like they're trying to, I don't know, communicate, but not in any language Maya recognizes.
So what happens? Does Maya crack the code? Do they fight back?
Not exactly. See, these entities, they aren't just outside the ship anymore.
They get on board.
They're inside.
Wait, how?
That's the thing. They don't need doors or airlocks. 1 minute, a corridor is empty. The next, it's filled with this presence. And it's not just unsettling. It's messing with the ship itself.
The ship? What do you mean?
Corridors twisting into impossible mazes, gravity fluctuating. Imagine being on a ship that's haunted, but instead of ghosts, it's these beings from beyond reality itself.
That's not haunting. That's a whole new level of terrifying. So what do? Do they fight back?
They try, but these entities, they're not just messing with the ship, they're messing with their minds. Remember how the eclipse amplifies their fears and memories?
Yeah.
It's like someone cranked that up to 11. The crew starts experiencing hallucinations, their worst fears playing out before their eyes. It's psychological torture.
This is getting seriously creepy, and I am hooked. What happens next? So last time, we left our intrepid crew facing down some seriously creepy cosmic entities, trapped inside a ship that's twisting and turning on them. It didn't sound like a fight they could win.
Yeah, Antariksh Yan doesn't pull any punches, does it? It shows just how outmatched the crew is. Remember, they're facing something that can manipulate reality itself.
So what do? Give up?
Well, surrender doesn't really seem like Commander Kavi's style. He's the kind of guy who'll stare down a cosmic horror with a laser pistol in hand.
Brave, but maybe a little crazy.
Maybe a little of both, but that's what makes him the commander, right? He knows they can't fight the eclipse head on, so he comes up with a desperate plan. A real Hail Mary.
What's the plan?
A suicide mission to the ship's core.
Hold on, the core. As in, the giant ball of nuclear energy that keeps the Antariksh Yan running, that core.
That's the one. It's incredibly dangerous, even without, the ship falling apart around them. But Kavi, he's betting everything on chaos.
Chaos.
He believes that if they disrupt the core, they can disrupt the eclipse's hold on the ship, buy themselves a chance to escape.
So they're going to fight fire with fire.
Exactly. It's a long shot for sure, but what other choice do they have?
It's like they're playing poker against a god who can see their cards.
Right, and can change the rules of the game whenever they want. But they're playing anyway because it's the only game in town. And as they descend into the heart of the ship, to the core, that's when the eclipse's psychological assault, it intensifies.
Gets even worse than hallucinations and fear.
Imagine corridors stretching into infinity, walls pulsing with a life of their own. Every shadow, it seems to hide another fear.
That sounds terrifying.
And through it all, they just keep going. It's a testament to their training, to their willpower, that they don't completely break under that kind of pressure.
They're walking through a nightmare. Did they even know what they were going to find at the core?
They had theories, hopes. But what they find, it's not what anyone expected. Imagine this. Instead of a marvel of engineering, they find a swirling vortex of darkness.
A vortex of darkness. Is that like a black hole?
No, it's not a physical hole. It's more like a tear in reality itself. And this is where Maya, remember her, the xenolinguist, she's been trying to understand the eclipse, trying to find a way to communicate. But here, at the core, facing this vortex, it's too much.
Too much.
The sheer alienness of it all, the vastness of what they're up against, it just overwhelms her mind. It's a truly tragic moment, but it highlights just how outmatched they are.
So what happens to her and the rest of the crew? Do they survive?
It's a close call. Lakshmi, remember she's the engineer, she manages to initiate a core overload.
Overload, as in make it explode.
Exactly. And while she's doing that, Siddharth, he buys them time, holds back the echoes of the eclipse just long enough for them to reach an emergency pod and escape. They get away from the Antariksh Yan mere seconds before the core goes critical.
And the ship.
Gone.
Yeah.
Vaporized by the shockwave from the core overload. And with it, the entities, the horrors, and Maya.
So they escape, but at a cost.
Exactly. It's a bittersweet victory, if you can even call it that. They stopped the eclipse, for now. But it cost them everything. And that's the real horror of Antariksh Yan, isn't it? The eclipse. It's still out there. It's this constant reminder that for all our advancements, for all our knowledge, we've barely scratched the surface of what's out there. And sometimes what we find is more terrifying than we can possibly imagine.
This deep dive has been a wild ride through the cosmos, full of mind-bending concepts and terrifying encounters. It's a reminder that the universe holds endless mysteries, some more unsettling than others. And that's what makes exploring these stories so fascinating, isn't it? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and be sure to tune in next time when we'll be tackling another corner of the unknown.